everyone's doing a jig. Oh, is the microphone on? Microphone is on. Yes, we can. Echo, yeah? We happy? We can hear? I mean, I'm quite loud anyway. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Brighton R. Yes, that's what we want. Thank you very much. This is our, I think, second Brighton Art of the year. It's great to see so many people in, familiar and new faces. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jeremy Horn. I am the founder and director of Data Cove, and I shall tell you a little bit more about us in a moment. We've also got Charlie, a wonderful analyst sitting at the back there, who has checked you all in wonderfully and given you beautiful stickers that you're all wearing so that we know who you are. A couple of bits of housekeeping for this evening. As you've just heard, some funky music. We are broadcasting this live on YouTube, which means that there will be people watching from all over the, well, hopefully all over the world. But if you do not want your face to be in any of the questions when you might ask them later on, let myself, Charlie, or Cam know, and let us know what your favorite R package is, and we shall put that hex over your face to make sure that you are not identifiable. I can do that. No, I can't do that. Sophie can do that, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll work. We also have two wonderful speakers this evening who I know will welcome your questions. They particularly like it when you wait until the end of the talk to ask your questions rather than heckling in the middle of the talk. So if you have a question, please wait until the end. We shall leave some time, stick your finger up, and we will bring the mic around to you. As you can tell, if you know us, we are quite a sociable bunch. So if you do take any photos tonight of your experience here, of the talks, of the wonderful slides that people are sharing, please put them on socials, hashtag BrightonR, tag Data Cove, and we shall give it some love. We've had some networking. We're going to have a couple of wonderful talks. We're going to have a few intros from some of our sponsors and supporters as well. And then at the end, of course, we all go and carry on networking just over the road at the Joker. So who are Data Cove? Well, we are Brighton-based R, Python and Shiny experts. Less of the Python, obviously, tonight. This is all about R. Yes, we didn't bring, well, Charlie does a bit of Python, but we still brought him along. Why not? So what does that mean? We specialize in three core areas. So you've got customer analytics. This is helping you identify who your most valuable customers are. So this is anything from very simple database analysis all the way to more complex predictive modeling, next best action, if I can say it, and segmentation models. We specialize in marketing analytics. This is understanding the true value of your marketing investments. So how much should you invest in which channel, and how can you get more leads and sales coming through the door by investing less money? It is possible. If you don't think it's possible, come and have a chat to us and we'll tell you how it is possible. And then process automation. Now, put simply, that is getting you out of Excel, because Excel is awful, terrible, rubbish. I can slate Excel all night. Excel is not for analysts. Excel is for people that do finance. Excel is for people that want to do very simple, quick calculations. It's not reporting. It's not dashboarding. And if you're still using it for anything like that, we will get rid of that forever for you. Bold claim, but true. We also do a lot of stuff in the community, and I shall talk to you about our big conference, Earl, a little bit later on. But as well as this meetup, we do run another meetup in Brighton. It's got a snake on it, and we won't talk too much about that. But we run these communities outside of Brighton in Bristol, Birmingham, Portsmouth, London, and Manchester. We've got lots and lots of events coming up. Back in September, this is the last event before our summer break. So just like the schools, we have a little summer holiday as well, because we like to do things like that. But we'll be back in Brighton in September, but also in most of our other cities as well. And events like this are not possible without our wonderful sponsors and supporters. And we've got two of them here tonight. So I'm first going to invite up Ro to tell you a little bit more about the space that you're in, the Eagle Labs.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. So hi to those in the room and to those online. I'm Rowan. I'm the lab manager for the Brighton Eagle Labs. And for those who don't know Eagle Labs, we are a co-working but a national network of business incubators. So that's what differentiates us from other co-working spaces that we provide ancillary support for businesses. So if you've got an idea for a business, or you've already got a business and you're looking to grow and scale that, we can help that, and also even the way to exit or IPO. So yeah, lots and lots of support support over that, which includes mentoring, access to accelerator programs, funding opportunities, lots and lots of great support for businesses. So if you really want to find out more about that, come and speak to me. If not, there's a banner at the front and you can scan the QR code. But we also love to embed ourselves within the local ecosystem and support what's going on in the tech infrastructure here. So that's why we get involved with Jeremy and all other kind of meetups as well through Silicon Brighton. So we support R, Python, shouldn't mention Python, but we do support it. And lots of other ones like Health Tech, Data Forum, and XR as well. So yeah, if you've got an idea for an event and you're looking for a home for it, or you want to kind of get an event off the ground, do come to speak to me about that as well. So yeah, I will pass you back to Jeremy. There you go.
That was very good. There you go. He's got claps as well. And very seamlessly, I shall pass you over to Cam, who's going to tell you more about our wonderful supporters at Silicon Brighton.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. I'll probably sit here, but I'll have a clicker anyway. Hey everyone, my name's Cam. I work with Silicon Brighton, and we are the hosts of Brighton & Hove's tech sector. We host a lot of meetups across the city, but we actually had recently, probably, what was it? How many weeks ago was it, Jeremy? 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago, yeah, we had our flagship event Evolve, where we brought all of our meetup communities together, and we just had a fantastic day at the Brighton Dome. It's going to be an annual event, so I'm really looking forward to the next one. All the feedback that we've had has been brilliant, and it seems like it's been something for everyone. And speaking of something for everyone, here is all the meetups that we support. We don't just support Brighton R and Brighton Pi and all the others like XR and Data Forum that Rowan mentioned, but we've got loads. So if you're into anything digital tech, I would implore you to check out any of these meetups. I'll pop a link at the end so it's nice and easy to digest. We just want to also say a huge thank you to our Silicon Brighton supporters, because they support everything that we do so that then we can support the community, which is just a great incubator for local businesses. Huge thank you to our main sponsors, which are James Chase, Plus Accounting, More Law, and also recently Alirity. They're all fantastic businesses that head what we do and look after us fantastically. You can stay up to date on all of our activity. We've got a few more meetups before the August break, but ready to come back in September with even more. We've got a fantastic Slack channel on this link as well, where the community can talk local job listings, local opportunities, and just general sort of enjoyment and good vibes in community. That's me. So thank you very much, Jeremy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Cam. All of these meetups that we run all across the UK, I can't tell you how much work and effort goes into them, finding speakers, venues, food, drinks, having great partners like the Eagle Labs and Silicon Brighton is just essential to us being able to run these. And it means so much to us, and I know to the community as well. Right, as much as I'm sure you've come here to listen to me speak, because everybody loves listening to me talking, and I can do it all night, I am going to invite our first speaker to the stage. So first up tonight, we've got Mark Austin. Mark is head of BI at Queen Victoria Hospitals and is going to talk to us about how he's using R, and particularly around some forecasting and predictions as well. So Mark.
I'm not ready. Yeah, just okay. Thank you. So first thing, am I standing out of the way so you can see the screen? Yeah, good. Okay. Got to do it the right way. Queen Victoria Hospital, that's hence the QVH. That's been explained. So I've advocated the use of the tidyverse, because it gives a coherent set of modules that we can load, and hence we can do the data science piece. Obviously, you can load other modules, it's fine, but it just gives a good working basis of taking data. And usually you have to tidy it up, or more commonly now we talk about data wrangling. Not quite cowboy in that one, but there we go. But what I wanted to talk about was a couple of things. One, how we're using R to streamline some process. And every month, NHS England republishes a load of data that we give it every month. So some of it is contemporaneous and is literally the month just gone. So the A&E statistics are that. Everything else is a month in arrears. And that's purely because of when the data is submitted, because we have to do monthly submissions. There's a lot of stuff that's done daily as well to keep things up to date. But these monthly bits are used in terms of our relative performance. And so they're important for that. So they publish them nice and handily up on our website. They toyed with the ideas of some APIs, and then they stopped doing that. They do some APIs for some of the lookup tables, but not for the statistics. So I've found that the easiest thing to do is to write some R that is expecting a file of a certain type in a certain place, and you just put it there. Because NHS England have a habit of archiving things or changing the names every so often. So if we go into the next year, that you get a few revisions, so the file names change. But we like to take things as a snapshot so that we've got a view of it. So that's where you go. NHS England have now put at the bottom there a new link, which gives some of these as a snapshot for the acute hospitals. QVH was very pleased to be top of the table for A&E. I did point out that it was still 55th, but that one's only looking at acutes. So we did beat Moorfields. I'll take that win. I think that's a fair comparison, but it's not fair against major trauma centres. So we go there, and then we go and find the files. I still prefer the A&E in the CSV, just so I don't take that one in Excel, but they publish them in Excel. Unfortunately, some of the other ones, they try and publish them in zips. That's not very helpful, so I'll take the Excel form and extract that out. And then what we use a few libraries. I suppose it's my engineering background. I comment on everything, mainly because 3 months later, I've forgotten what I was thinking of doing there. You use a bit of pattern matching to make sure that I actually find the right file. And then I do a number of loops. Now, by taking the list, I can actually have a double loop. So I loop for the number of items found in the list. It's a very quick way of getting a whole year's worth of things. And if you want to update them quickly, just bang them in, let it start and get your cup of coffee and come back, and hopefully it's finished them all until NHS England change the format, which every so often they do. So this is the A&E one, which is just finding for that. It's also helpful for some of my own staff to remind them how many ways you can spell flat file with hyphens anyway. So hence you find every so often I put asterisks, because sometimes I put a space, sometimes I put a hyphen. Anyway. Back to wrangling. So having found that you've actually found a file, this is the wrangling part. So strictly speaking, if you're in a Microsoft world, not swearing, you'd use SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. Not many people have got their heads around that. It's not wrong. It's very prescriptive. I wrote in COBOL. That's very prescriptive. But the trouble is NHS England add a column every so often, and it's harder to redo an SSIS package. It's easy to go in here and take column 4 out that they've added, and I've got no idea why. So always get set number of columns. So you ignore the new ones they've just added for fun, or the extra columns they added because somebody didn't take a space out, and then just rename them to what ends up as the file name, the column names. And then I always then append a date, but here I just added the date version on the end, and then echoed it out with GLIMP so that I could see what it is and know it's worked before it goes up to the SQL Server. So we write it up to the SQL Server. And then, two-part process. I'm using R to do the transport, do the quick data wrangling, get it normalized in the format I want it, and then send it up into a raw file. So it doesn't matter what happens with it. But then I have a SQL stored procedure to try and do the next bit of processing and handle some of those pesky conversions between things. Dates being the worst culprit, and doing some adding up. And then there's this neat file renaming trick where you can then actually move it into a subdirectory when it was originally for renaming, but you can change the subdirectory and basically move it from the upload to the done. So you should see what's in upload shrink. You can carry on drinking your coffee while it's shrinking. So, and then you see I've even put in helpfully end of the loop, end of the if-else clause to remind myself which loop I'm closing so I can remember myself. And you can then close the connection to be nice and neighborly to your SQL Server. So said SQL Server, raw files, and then there's the monthly one. So basically you're doing the parsing of the raw data and then you're appending it. What I tend to do actually is to see which month it is and try and delete that month so that you can always just keep refreshing it. And you end up with that, which helps. Soon as that data's up there, I mean, we submit the data. So for us, we know this data, but it's useful for benchmarking. But it does enable us to use other Microsoft display products like Power BI. Although in the NHS, we link the dots. So there is an R package to do the SPC. So we tend to use that a lot for explaining things. But this is the Power BI version of that package, just so that you can see what's happened. So yes, we're number one, but our performance is slightly off track to the last few years. But I'll take the number one. So here's the benchmarking so that we can rank ourselves against England in the data, because we all know our place. There's a structure to the NHS. Trusts belong in integrated care boards. Integrated care boards belong in regions. We'll see a bit of shrinkage of that, I'm sure, soon. But then we can see our relative ranks and how they've changed between the months. So it gives them a quick shot. And then it's also useful because we have to do performance reports. We can keep this to one side and make sure the data that's flowing into the performance report equals that. It should do for A&E. There's always a slight difference for the RTT, but because NHS England only worry about English patients. So take them out. So that's the referral to treatment bit. And nice to see 0 for the over 104 weeks, but we still got a few tail end long waiters. Okay. I said it was two parts to what I was looking at. So in the predicting sense, again, following the theme of tidyverse, using the tidy models. So from there, you can get a few engines to do a bit of the number crunching for you. And then that gives you relative bits and pieces that you can compare against. And hence, you look at how closely they're modeling your split data. A real example, every year we have to do planning. And we're always asked to model everything to the nth degree. I start off with the simple thing of, that's what happened in the past. And going forwards, it would look something like that with the various models and the different bits. Obviously, I've picked an example that is reasonably coherent. Sometimes some of the other models go very funny. But that's the point of eyeballing it and seeing which ones are working forward. What's the closest match and whether it works. And that one was working on our monthly submission. So If you was old school and you put it on graph paper and you got a ruler out, you would write a line there and you would say, actually, that's quite right. Unfortunately, for us as modelers, someone went and changed the process. So the predicted model didn't happen and reality was different. So we can change our future. No Terminator 2 jokes. It did actually pop up a bit last month, but I only had the stats yesterday, but not significantly, but there was a slight up, so it wasn't going all the way. So even with models, you have to take them with a pinch of salt. Okay. I was trying not to be too geeky, but give you a bit of flavor of what I was doing. But I've taught the department to use it. And apart from one glitch yesterday, generally they cope with things. So in the time-honored tradition, any questions?
Great. We'll get this mic on as well.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. Keep it low, as long as it's at low level so that online can hear questions. Excellent. That's what we want. Any questions for Mark? Alex has got one at the back.
Yes, thanks for the talk. Just wondering, you talk about you using like lots of modelling in there. How does your modelling approach, say, compare to other NHS trusts? Do they do this the same, or is yours unique for the trust you work at?
I don't think we're unique. There's a lot of predictive analytics that goes on taking 6-week averages. So certainly that's quite predictive for A&E. If you use 6 weeks averages and then add the seasonality, that you're pretty much there. For the other things, it depends on the system. I could have used the example of diagnostics, very well performing imaging, taking said X-rays or MRIs and CTs, very good performing, and then the CT broke. So the performance for the last 2 months has nosedived. It wasn't, so they just had to repurpose and then look to see what other ones they could use a secondary machine on. But those sort of things, we can't predict that. We can only see the effect of it in the data, but at least it gives us, we expected it to be this, it's now not. What's changed?
Any more questions?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So you were saying that this is work that you do in your own trust, and you said that some trusts use Microsoft BI, but you choose to use R. Do you know if there are other people in other trusts up and down the country that do use R? And do you have any kind of community where you can share the way you do things? Is there kind of collaboration in that way?
Yes, there is some. I know from my time at Barts that they use R. While I was there, I did an API to pull out some of their stats from a REST interface that they had with a third-party supplier. So yeah, they're happy to use R and use it for the predictive analytics side as well. So there are a few.
Any more questions? Because otherwise I'm asking a question. No questions online either? Excellent. Great to see people using tidy models, and it's something that I've often thought of. I really want to get into tidy models. What advice would you give to somebody that's not used tidy models before about getting started?
Read the book.
Just read the book?
No. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of advice and guidance that's out there to help, but, it's no coincidence that the Chief Operating Officer of POST-it, ex-RStudio, is the person that wrote ggplot2. And I'm a great advocate of using that to give you quick, clever plots, and enable you much greater degree of control than Excel or Microsoft would ever let you have, especially when you consider the idea of the layering and the multiple plots and different types you can use.
Great, thank you. Last chance for questions, anybody? Oh, we've got another one.
Thank you. I don't know if it makes sense, but I saw on your slides you used ARIMA as a method for prediction. You say you compared with different methods, but you get different results.
Yes, so in the example I showed, I overlay the different models, so you see which one's behaving. So in modeling, you would split your data to get and then train it on it, and then see if it predicts the bit that you left out. And so you can see which one is approximating or if it's going off wildly. I mean, usually you would hope to see some seasonality because the NHS is very much based on seasons.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Last chance. Any final questions for Mark? Excellent. Can we give Mark a big hand and say thank you for the talk?
Thank you.
Great. Well, we are going to take a very, very short break. We're also going to be saying an unfortunate goodbye to our lovely audience online who are following on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in if you're online tonight to Mark's talk and to all of the wonderful things that I shared at the beginning. We shall see you back in September. For those of you in the room, we're going to do a very quick tech change so that we can have our second speaker. That also gives you time to refuel. There's a little bit more pizza left. There's definitely more drinks left. And we will see you all in a few minutes. Thank you.